Hey y'all, welcome to David's Life and Observation with your host David Welch. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, um, but I can't stay quiet anymore because there are things out there in the ether that have not been resolved, and more shit's popping off. So let's talk about Breonna Taylor, Louisville. It's the most corrupt. It's the most publicly corrupt situation I've ever seen in my life, where we have audio of the investigation and the investigating sergeant, or whatever the fuck you call him, is leading the sergeant who was interviewed 2 weeks after the shootings, or after the fucking raid, with an attorney. And then Kenneth Walker was not afforded an attorney. They said he signed away his Miranda rights, but they lied to him to get him to do that, saying that, hey, you have to sign this document, then give us the statement, and then we'll leave you alone and go home. Bruh. Listen, this is the most insane, asinine thing I've ever seen in my life, and every one of those cops, the battering ram guys, so all the guys that fired the 8 shots that killed Breonna Taylor, every single one of those assholes should be arrested and put to death. Those motherfuckers deserve to be on death motherfucking row. Death row. Do not pass go. Bitches, do not collect anything like your fucking pension. And you're fucking done, bitches. All fucking done. Like, you guys should be... The community should be so pissed off that they go into their homes, rip them out of their homes, and hang them publicly. That's how bad. That's how the injustice. That's how bad and severe the injustice is in this situation. It is so severe, so bad, and so blatantly public in front of the entire community, in front of the entire world, that these cops. One of the cops just got fired. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, no firing. They should be fucking hung in the public square. Every single officer involved in that situation. I don't care if they had a briefing about it. I don't give a fuck how they perceived it went. You're in plain clothes. You're doing a no-knock raid. Kenneth Walker defends his home justifiably, fires a round. You return fire with 8 fucking, well, more than that, but at least 8 rounds, killing the person inside. And you end up finding no drugs, not even the people you're looking for, and that's somehow justifiable to you. That's somehow, like, you somehow have qualified immunity to murder someone and not be put to death for it, or at least get a life sentence out of the deal. I'm sorry, but not only are the officers that were there involved in that situation who need to be in prison, it's the judge who signed the warrant. Because what fucking amount of research needs to be done in order for these warrants to be signed? Because judges are blindly signing these bitches. I guarantee you, they're it's, I guess it's a flaw of the system where they're entirely reliant upon the officers doing their job correctly. Where you see it in Houston, you see in Louisville, you see in so many raids in Chicago. It's insane to keep track of now because there's been so many botched raids in Chicago. But you see them all the time where I don't know what kind of exchange they have with these judges to just get these signatures. But it's ludicrous because there's no challenging of them. There's no research. There's no, they're making, like in Houston, they're making shit up. But then you have the case of Breonna Taylor where they did everything in their power, everything in their police powers to railroad Kenneth Walker. Everything they could do to put him in prison. And then no repercussions happening to those officers other than one getting fired. Like, give me a motherfucking break. Like, where's the stripping of all their post certifications? Where's the looting of their pension? Where's the justice? It doesn't fucking exist in that plane of reality, apparently. So, my thing is for the protesters that are there, for people who are still diligently out there fighting for Breonna Taylor, I encourage you to keep doing so. And I encourage you to stay mad, because every step of the way, they're showing you their true colors. Every step of the way, they're showing you how deeply embedded their racism is by trying to place the blame and the onus on the boyfriend, on Kenneth Walker. They tried putting this guy away. They indicted him for murder after 20 days. Indicted him for murder, and there's no repercussions for the officers, because, listen, we have a society that believes officers cannot do bad, even though there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of fucking videos of them doing really bad shit to people. Like horrific shit to people, where they beat the fuck out of people in handcuffs. They taser people in the head, putting a teen unconscious, and that teen ends up dying from that experience. Or you have officers that are giving commands to people of which they are following, and then they murder them because the commands they were giving did not make sense to a human being whatsoever. Because they're fucking ballless cowards. Okay? And then you have the biggest bitch of them all, Brandon fucking Tatum. This bitch of a former police officer. And I say a bitch because he's truly a bitch. And here's how he's a bitch. This motherfucker is going to go on and make a tirade about how people should defend the police instead of defunding the police, which, you know, obviously defunding and reallocating funds is being lumped into the same fucking terminology. And again, the argument could be made to give them more funds in order to mitigate the excuse of lack of training, in order to mitigate the excuse of, hey, we've shown you 1,000 scenarios, you signed all these hours of training, there's no way that can be an excuse anymore, even though it probably still would be in the police community. But this motherfucker is defending constantly these major cases that are out there of clear fucking police brutality. And this moron is constantly talking about, man, police are under attack. No shit, motherfucker, because they're digging themselves the hole. Like, do you think any other occupation is under this much attack because of they're doing the right thing? No, motherfucker. They're under attack for a reason. They are digging their own graves. They're doing this shit and putting it on themselves. Like, it's like, wow, like, I can't believe the fucking hubris of this asshole, where he honestly believes people should kiss the boot of the motherfucking police right now and worship the almighty thin blue line gods, and they should be thankful that they have them in society. Oh, society would degrade into chaos. Not necessarily, motherfucker. No. Like, when you have a community of people who constantly refer to themselves as wolves, and people are sheep to them, look at the dynamic. Wolves eat sheep. They don't fucking protect them. There's no protection there. That's predatory language. And Brandon Tatum's an asshole for constantly advocating for this insane hero worship that you see with some of these dumbass motherfuckers in society who constantly kiss the boot despite evidence of wrongdoing, despite clear-cut fucking evidence of the insanity that is law enforcement and the relationship they have with people. And not just people themselves. There are sheriffs and police departments in the United States that are literally at war with each other, much less the war against the people. And then you have in bed with those fucking assholes the prosecutors from that local area who are such good friends with their law enforcement buddies that they will not under any fucking circumstances prosecute them or investigate them properly, because it would be bad business. They wouldn't probably be a prosecutor the next year they did that. The judge probably would not be elected to the next term of judgeship if he went against the law enforcement community. So we see this cronyism. We see this this cabal of fucking injustice working within the fucking justice system. It's a hilarious mafia organization that goes all the way up to the governors. Like, so let's talk about the mask thing, because everybody's ripping me online for the whole you should wear a mask. Like, listen, in order for me to patronize some stores and places where I want to go, it is, and it's private property. It's somebody else's store. It's somebody else's property. I'm going to abide by their rules if I want that service. Okay? If someone asks me just walking around, or if I'm just driving in my vehicle, or I'm at the park or whatever have you with my kids, and I choose not to wear a mask, go fuck yourself. Because I'm not going to change that situation. I am not going to just appease you and put a mask on in an area that, quite frankly, you know, especially out here in Arizona when it's a million fucking degrees outside, you know, is okay because there's very few people around anyway, right? But if I choose not to wear a mask, that's on me. If your dumbass chooses to wear a mask all the time and restrict your breathing ability, that's on you, bitches. If you want to compromise your immune system, you fucking do it to you. But don't fucking put it on other people to have to abide by your fucking peer pressure, because not everybody will do that. There are people who, quite frankly, think critically in this country and challenge what's being fed to us as far as information. Because look at the campaigns that are constantly being fed to people about the misinformation. In fact, there's a case today where a good friend of mine, whose father tested positive for corona, has breathing problems, is not in a good way. The doctors are discharging him from the healthcare facility. Where is the level of care in that? Older gentleman presenting with breathing problems is diagnosed with COVID. And you talk about, hey, we have no bed space, we have no treatment space. Well, is that really true? Like, and tell me the rationale as a doctor. I think it's the Hippocratic Oath, shall do no harm. Like, where is the healthcare in that? What are we paying you $1,000 or $1 million of healthcare insurance money for when you simply look at us for 4 seconds? Not Rona. Been talking all day. When you look at us for 4 seconds, determine what is going on, and then happily discharge us with no medication, nothing. You have failed as a fucking medical institution at that point. You have failed as a doctor, and you should be sued. You carry malpractice insurance, which should absolutely be fucking challenged at that point, because is it the best care that you can offer sending someone home? Have we gotten to the point where it's just bring out your dead motherfuckers? Like, do we not have the available space in the medical facilities? Can we not erect medical facilities? And then there's an issue where they're trying to say, hey, there's an issue with the amount of bodies that are in the morgue. Well, first off, that's in a small ass fucking town, not even like the Metro Phoenix area. Regardless, why? The only reason there are that many bodies in the morgue is because they refuse to do anything with them, because the family has not paid to get them buried, to get them cremated, and they're waiting on payment from people who don't have money, whose unemployment boost is going to come to an end very fucking shortly, who have no other recourse, who may not even have another job. I got the cat jumping around all over the place. Who may not even have another job, and they're being forced into a situation where obviously they weren't expecting that person to die. Not everybody can afford fucking insurance, life insurance, to make these claims in order to, you know, help offset the cost of a funeral. You got motherfuckers standing on the side of the road with, hey, can you help with the funeral costs? Like, part of me looks at that like, damn, that dude's doing a scam because he's out here every week with, you know, auntie, uncle, everybody else dying around him. I get it. But then you got real legit people who have that legit fucking issue, who are out on the streets doing the same thing. You can't tell which one's a scammer or which one's not. And you want to help because you want to clear those bodies out of the morgue. But why doesn't the state take it upon themselves to help finance the burials or finance a cremation opportunity? Say, hey, you know what? It's you know, like we can only do so much. We're going to put $2,000 because I get that the funeral homes need to fucking make money, but they're making a lot of fucking money right now, like hand over fucking fist. Because you got grandma, you got grandpa, you got aunts and uncles supposedly who are all dying from this shit with a 98.9% survival rate. But apparently you got a lot of people dying from the situation. But the state's not doing anything to help with that. In fact, at every turn, if you look at every turn, the state's getting paid more money. All of the big box stores are getting paid more money. The stocks are up. All of the quarterly expectations are met and exceeded because this only benefits the uber rich. This coronavirus bullshit only benefits the uber rich. Everybody else, we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna see a housing crash hit real fucking soon if it hasn't already started, right? So we're got a housing crash that's on the precipice. We have an unemployment rate that's gonna hit at least 30-40%. And those are the people that are reporting unemployment. Imagine how many motherfuckers are not reporting unemployment but are unemployed. Or, we have a gig economy where people are making everything that they could possibly make is still not enough for bills, but they're technically not employed. So we have so many people thriving or trying to thrive in the gig economy, but pretty soon people are not going to be able to order Grubhub or Uber Eats or anything because there are people running out of resources. People are being fired every day from jobs that would normally keep them afloat. You have families closing ranks. And then on top of that, you have police brutality that's going to go on unchecked. You have given them more fucking reasons to fuck with people because they're not wearing masks, and they want to impose fines. They want to do everything that they can in their power in order to find you and fuck you. That's what they're going to do. They're going to fine you and then fuck you. They're going to put you in a cage. They're going to deny you the ability to make money. Then they're going to charge you X amount of money for court fees and all these other things because you decided to go against the rules and not wear a mask in public. Where the governor, I'm sorry to break it to you dumbasses, has no power to create a law. It's not a law. It's a fucking rule. And if I choose not to engage in a contract with someone who says I have to abide by that fucking rule, then I'm not going to. Now, again, if I want to enter an establishment, which is private property, which is owned by somebody other than fucking me, and I want to patronize that place, of course I'm going to follow their fucking rules. But until then, leave people on the streets alone because, Jack, Jill, and Juan at the fucking bus stop may not even have a mask. They may not have an opportunity to fucking afford a mask, much less themselves. They may be just trying to get cool and sit on the bus. But you motherfuckers want to roll up, and this is how Phoenix Police does. So this happened last week. Phoenix Police, on a tip of a very unreliable witness here, mind you, said, "Hey, I'm being threatened by a person. He said he's going to stab me. I believe I know where that person lives." They take him to a location, and there is a communication breakdown that happens somewhere where, they say I don't know if they can take the witness and say, "Hey, is that the guy?" In fact, what they do is they just knock on the door and start questioning everybody. Which, of course, in an investigation, obviously, you want cops to do an investigation, especially if there's like somebody being threatened of being stabbed, right? So you want them to do an investigation. So you find Garcia, Jay Garcia, I think is his name, sleeping in his motherfucking vehicle in front of his place. Mind you, it's about 1,000,000 degrees in Phoenix, right? So it's about 1,000,000 degrees. They block him in. He can't go anywhere. He's probably got the AC on, just chilling, minding his own business. And in Arizona, just like, I don't know how it works in other states, honestly, and I don't give a fuck because anybody making laws that are affronting to the Constitution and the right to carry is bullshit, and everybody in that situation should get fucked up. But mind you, Arizona is a constitutional carry state, so it could be concealed, or open carry, it could be concealed. Doesn't fucking matter. Not in the fucking slightest. You can have it on you. So when Mr. Garcia is being questioned about his activities, he's saying, hey, he talked to him for a good fucking 10 minutes. A good 10 minutes. And after you've done your bit to contribute to their investigation, if you choose to or not, which you absolutely don't have to, you can choose to say, I'm no longer in participating with your investigation. Mind you, these cops are on private property based on an accusation that somebody on that property was issuing threats to someone else. Why, in that 10 to 15 minute span of conversation, did you not bring the witness over to identify the guy positively to say, hey, that's the guy who was threatening me with a knife? Why was that not possible? Why is it that you're just going to go on the word of somebody and have a vague description, which if you say there's a Latino man threatening in the state of Arizona, you got about 99.89% of the 99.89% of the population that fits the description of. Okay? So, for the circumstances to result in the death of someone, a shooting death because he refuses to get out of his car on private property, I'm sorry, but that's not an investigatory type thing. There's no law for officer safety. I'm gonna keep saying it until I'm gonna die, because there is no law that says officers have to be safe in a situation. No law. There's nothing written into the law that says our law enforcement have to disarm you and feel safe. I don't give a fuck if you feel safe. You've chosen to do the job, okay? You've chosen to go onto private property to try and enter a man's property, his vehicle, and fuck with him on private property with the eyewitness of a very uncredible person, because for some reason that person cannot be found now. For some reason, the witness they said they had cannot be turned up to say, hey, emphatically, that was the motherfucker that was threatening me. No. So you get a situation where cops threaten to get into this guy's vehicle. Now, instead of waiting, which they very well could have done for a CRT team, or they could have just waited. It's 100 million degrees. He can't keep his car on forever. Okay? Can't keep the car on forever. And what would have been the crime to wait, talk to the witness, say, hey, man, we got this guy giving us a hard time. He's not getting out of the vehicle. We have, a lawful reason to detain him. But in order to be able to detain him further, we got to have you put eyeballs on him and say, hey, that's the guy. Because we can't force him out of his vehicle. We can't place him in handcuffs. We're not going to be able to do any further motions with this stop until he's positively identified as the guy who was threatening you with a knife. Why was that not a reasonable thing to fucking do? A route to go for these bald-headed, racist motherfucking Phoenix cops, who don't know how to fucking string fucking sentences together because they grew up in motherfucking Maryville, or they grew up in fucking, they went to the public school system around here and are not highly intelligent individuals, or they're implants from some bumfuck region of Arizona, and they come here thinking, man, I'm going to live in the city, I'm going to become a cop, and things are going to be okay. No, bitch, you should be required to have a bachelor's degree to be a cop in the motherfucking state of Arizona. But it's not required. You can have a high school diploma and have fuck all for credentials, and have fuck all for a brain power. But I digress. So they choose to attack the man in his vehicle. According to the video that you see, that the witness provides you, the guy's hands are on the motherfucking wheel. His hands are on the wheel. You can see them in the video. They break the glass on the passenger side. They bust the glass out. He turns. The video kind of goes down for a little bit, so you don't get to clearly see what happens. But regardless, if he reaches for a weapon, it's because he's literally under attack by armed goons who do not know he's absolutely the guy they're fucking looking for. And as a person who is detained, if you don't have, you don't have to comply. Honestly, you don't. Would it have been okay to say, hey, man, like they positively identified him as who he was? Just because he didn't want to get out of the vehicle, you know where he's at. Not going anywhere. You got your vehicle parked in front of his. You have time. Why can police officers not work with a timetable that's longer than 10 minutes? If they have an interaction longer than 10 minutes here in Phoenix, they are going hands-on and you're going in a vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's mundane. It doesn't matter if it's a benign fucking encounter. If they have to be there longer than 10 minutes, some asshole's going in the car. Some asshole's going in the car, or some asshole's going in the hospital, or some asshole's gonna die and go to the morgue. That's how Phoenix operates. And that's how the surrounding cities operate. Mesa PD, no different. Those assholes operate on a high fucking tempo of, hey, you didn't do the exact Simon Says motherfucking verbiage of exactly what I said, even though it was contradictory, and you were crawling on the floor. It doesn't matter. We're going to fucking shoot you because you didn't do exactly what we said with the exact amount of fucking motion and the exact circumstances that we wanted, and so you deserve to die in that situation. That's how Phoenix rolls. That's how Mesa rolls. That's how Tempe rolls. They don't give a fuck. Tempe police, the laziest cops bitch ass of the year, where they can't chase a kid. They gotta shoot him from a distance in the back as he's running away because they lost the foot race. That's what it is. You lose the foot race, apparently you gotta shoot a motherfucker in the back. Now, let's go back to the Phoenix police. So they killed the guy in his vehicle. Turns out, the eyewitness is like, no, that's not the guy. And you killed a man because he wasn't compliant. Bitches, you are not the judge. You are not the jury. You are not the fucking executioner. You are law enforcement. Tell me exactly the law. You have an accusation from a witness. Okay, great. So everybody gets identified. Everybody gets conversation. Great. Then, for some reason, there's no communication with the witness to say that's the asshole that threatened me with a knife. You get it later after the guy's dead, but you don't get it during the conversation. And for some reason, the public will not, I'm telling you, they're going to bury it. And if they do release it, it's going to be so redacted that it's only going to be redacted to the point where it shows the law enforcement officers in 100% the right with the editing of the video. That's the only way it gets shown to the public, because guess what? They know motherfucking sure as shit that there will be high-level protest and there will be anger from the community if it shows anything other than officers acting perfectly. In a situation where you cost someone their life, you absolutely should be acting fucking perfectly, or having the level head in a fucking scenario to say, you know what? We don't have to engage this individual at this level right now. We can back off. We can wait. We can stand in the shade. We can sit in our cars and wait till this motherfucker gets out of the car. Or we can call more officers to the scene to ensure that the shit gets de-escalated, because obviously they don't know anything other than escalation at any fucking point. So, the main point of this video, and what I've been getting at, is law enforcement officers have dug the hole that they are in by themselves. They have brought it onto themselves. If you're out there in the community and you worship the blue and you're an officer yourself and you're watching this at some point in some crazy history, maybe 2-3 years down the road, I don't care, and you're asking yourself, why were people so mad? It's because you brought it upon your fucking selves. And it's not going to get fixed until you do some massive fucking reforms with your hiring policies, with how quickly motherfucking bad officers get kicked the fuck out of your system, how quickly bad officers get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for murdering people, and how quickly prosecutors and judges get removed from that whole qualified immunity bullshit, because if they commit crimes as a prosecutor and as a judge, they absolutely should be behind bars. If you have judges, you see it in lower courts all the time, so much of the time, where you have judges that they don't care, because their court case load is so massive that it is literally impossible for them to take an actual ounce of time to really hear your case. And they're not even hearing you. They only want to they will tell you they only want to hear from lawyers. They will tell you to your face, like, you don't have counsel. It's like almost a foreign fucking thing for them for you to not have counsel. Obviously, it is always great to have counsel. You want to have counsel. You want to have defense attorneys. And why? Why, for the love of God, is there not a huge push in the legal circles to have a sufficient amount of civil rights or police misconduct attorneys out there for people to contact? Because you would think that would be a cash cow. But you want to know why? Because it would inundate the system. Officers investigating themselves is a problem. I don't care if they believe in their fantasy fucking world where they're the only ones who have the expertise to investigate themselves. It only creates a bad situation when you have officers of the same club investigating the club to find wrongdoing when it's a cabal of fucking dipshits and mafiosos. It doesn't work. It's just not a conducive system for accountability. You have that in the federal agencies. There's no accountability. You have government agencies like the TSA, the IRS. So let's talk about the IRS for a second. We're at about the halfway point of this video. You have the IRS, right, who have no enforcement capabilities for the top 1%. They have no enforcement capabilities for anyone who makes over a couple $1 million. No enforcement. They have notices. Notices. Like 70% of the tax dodgers come from the top 1%. So the 70% of the money that's been tax dodged comes from the top 1%. So the poor are getting gouged and they're getting fucking mercilessly persecuted by the IRS. Like, this is exactly why we motherfucking fought to leave the tax system in motherfucking the UK. It's exactly why we fought to leave the tax system in France, and the tax system in Spain, and the tax system over fucking seas, and came here, and now we as the American people, a supposedly free country, is taxed to death. We are taxed. Everything is taxed. Your death is taxed. Your life is taxed. Your paycheck is you're taxed. Your paycheck's taxed multiple times, actually. So not only are you taxed on the money you earn, you're taxed on the money you spend, which is more tax. Like, if you die, there's taxes. There's taxes associated with burial costs. There's taxes associated with, everything about the whole death process. There's taxes associated with your kids. So there's taxes that are so much attacking your paycheck. It's a miracle that people even have a little bit of money at the end of the pay period. Like, your guess what else gets taxed? Your rent gets taxed. Your food you buy gets taxed. You're facing registration, getting a driver's license change. It's $10, but that's $10 that you could use, right? You're taxed on the getting a license plate. You're taxed whenever you make a transaction. You're taxed, and that's even a personal transaction. Like, let's say I sold my car. Like, somewhere down the line, somebody's getting on the hook for those taxes. So if you don't claim it, and you don't claim that you sold that vehicle, you're gonna be on the hook for those taxes for that vehicle still. I mean, it's just outrageous how often and how much we get taxed as a society. Not to turn around, burn down the institution of the IRS, or if all of us got together and decided to say one year, like, yo, we're not paying taxes, we are not going to file taxes, we are not giving our employers permission to keep our tax money, there would be fuck all they could do about it. Literally nothing. But what they would do, is what they would try to do, is they would give federal powers to local police agencies who would arm up in military-style fatigues and military-style weaponry and military-style everything, and then come beat down doors and start hauling shit out of your house because you're a tax dodger now of, what, $1,000 in a year? 2,000? 3,000? But the rich and the corporates and the corporations can avoid taxes all fucking year and hide their fucking money in offshore accounts and all sorts of corrupt shit and never be held accountable. What the actual fuck, people? What is going on? Why? Why is that a thing? Why are we allowing that shit to happen? Why are we allowing governors to fucking have these magical powers to impose anything on the American people? Yo, no, that's not their role. If there is a state of emergency like a pandemic and you deem it a state of emergency, and you've got to be able to supply that community or the American people with documentation. And then the documentation you're getting from the hospitals is fabricated documentation. Your tests are not reliable. You have people in the healthcare community that are saying, no, hey, people are just getting assigned COVID because it gives the hospital more federal money. It gives them more, they can claim more on insurance. They can claim more, from people. That's why they want to label everything COVID. It's a money game. And you literally have people dying of ulterior causes being labeled COVID. Because the one death doesn't give them the same money the COVID death does. It's a fucking miracle. It's fucking outrageous. We have let so much fucking nonsense go on such a low fucking level and on a high level for so fucking long. And then we're about to have presidential debates. Like, how can you have a presidential debate without all of the presidential candidates? That should be a crime. Like, how are you going to have a debate and not give the third party, the Libertarian Party or the Green Party or whoever the fuck party, unless it's Ross Perot and he's funding it himself, the opportunity to have the platform to speak on the platform? And so what? It takes away a majority of the red votes or the blue votes. Who cares? It's the fucking system, right? But if you have a debate where only two fucking parties come to the table, just because they're the majority parties, doesn't mean that the valid arguments from that third party or fourth party or whatever party that could have come to the table could have swayed votes, because they have valid fucking positions that are in stock opposition to the red and the blue team, which is a miracle of modern fucking science, that we allow these fucking power-hungry, rich elitist criminals who solve nothing. They literally don't solve anything in their term other than creating more tax breaks for the rich, other than making the rich richer. That is the only goddamn thing they tend to be able to do. Because what'll happen is you have a blue person get in there for a little bit. They're going to undo all the red shit. And then you're going to get a red person in there, and they're going to undo all the blue shit. Meanwhile, the corporate elitists are fucking stealing money from everybody. They're fucking in charge of our politicians because they literally buy them with lobbyists and glad handing and donations of millions upon millions of dollars to their retirement campaign. Their election campaign. And you have a ludicrous amount of sponsors. It's a ludicrous amount of, there should be patches that these motherfuckers wear, because they are beholden to their corporate donors and not the American people. Why is it that we have constant, blatant visuals of them in stock, in direct opposition to the American people's wishes, and they still get elected and they still get to put on the show? Why the fuck are we allowing that to happen? Why are we as veterans putting up with shit? Speaking of veterans, holy shit, Navy fucking SEAL Team 6 of DevGru, you dumb asshole motherfuckers. You piece of shits. You guys are the worst fucking leadership command in the fucking Navy. You asshole motherfuckers. You are trying to accuse an American hero who's been in the service for 16 fucking years and who's been a Navy SEAL, who's been on multiple fucking deployments, and have someone accuse him of catfishing with no proof, and you're going to take away his everything. You're going to take away his career. You're going to take away his VA honorable discharge ability. You're going to take away everything from a guy who put it on the line for this country. You fucking asshole pricks. That should be national fucking news. It should be huge. It should be out there on the wire everywhere. It should be out there like, you know, out in space and shit, because that's how crazy that shit is. You have a Navy SEAL, Aaron Howard, SO1, SW, or, you know, special operator. You have a Navy SEAL who's been on deployments, who's been through the thickest shit, who's been through the hard parts of training, who fucking served on ships before he went to Navy SEALs, you know, who served on the John L. Hall with me, who is a fucking straight up dude, who has no fucking reason under the sun to catfish a bitch, because honestly, Navy SEALs don't have to do that shit. They don't. They go surf and they work out all the time. Believe me, the women come to them. They don't need to act like they're somebody else. They don't need to say, hey, I'm a personal trainer, because they're a Navy SEAL who already probably looks better than the personal trainer that your fucking girlfriend goes to anyway, or your wife, or whatever the situation is. So for them to have no evidence against the guy and say he was catfishing bitches with no evidence, no proof other than the lies perpetuated by other people, and then you want to deny him an honorable fucking discharge? You want to fucking kick him out with 4 years left in the service when he could be doing something awesome for our country? You want to get rid of a guy who you trained up millions of dollars and give him nothing at the end of that when he put his life on the line for I don't know how many fucking tours? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, no. Did the guy murder anybody? No. Did he commit a major crime? No. Did he violate the UCMJ in some sort of fucking way? I can't think of what catfishing, first off, falls under in the UCMJ. And secondly, I can't even fucking fathom that a guy would lose his entire career because Navy SEAL leadership doesn't want to look bad, but you made yourself look like pieces of shit. Other Navy SEALs, other people who are ever in the Navy are ashamed of you guys right now. DevGru 6 or whatever the fuck leadership unit you are. You are a piece of shits. You are assholes. You are a disgrace to the fucking uniform. You ought to trade your fucking SEAL patch in for a fucking pacifier, you baby back bitches. I can't believe you fucking wear that uniform and try and say you wear it with pride. You're ruining the career of a fucking sailor who went on fucking deployments for this country, who fucking put it all on the line, who fucking didn't catfish a bitch because you can't find proof that he ever did, but you're going to go on the word of some bitch who can't even produce a fucking a text message, a note, a fucking voice message, or nothing. But you're going to go on the word of somebody to accuse a Navy SEAL of something with no proof and let that stand and then punish him to the point where he's getting an honorable discharge because he chose to lawyer up. That's what it comes down to. He chose to get a lawyer to defend himself against corrupt Navy officials. That's what it came down to. That's what it came down to. And then you have some sort of waspy, crispy, crappity, crusty motherfucking white-haired bitch-ass officers that don't know Aaron Howard, that don't know him from a fucking hole in the wall, who haven't been on ships in fucking years, if ever, and they're going to make a judgment on a fucking Navy SEAL, a combat veteran, you piece of shit motherfuckers. How fucking dare you, pieces of shit? How fucking dare you ruin that man's life? You fucking ass clowns. I can't believe the Navy where it's at. I can't believe it. You have fucking stress cards? You have fucking whiny ass sailors getting chiefs in trouble for nothing. You have whiny ass sailors who are like, oh, chief yelled at me. Bitch, you're in the military. You have an obligation to the ship to fight the ship, you dumb bitch. Like, I'm sorry. If you're a dude or you're a woman in the military, in the service, and you're on a ship and you're fucking butthurt because your chief got in your ass for something you could have put somebody's life in danger for, then you absolutely deserve the ass chewing. But we have the pussy Navy now. We have the pussy military. We have the Army going the opposite direction. You have Fort Hood, where this is the black hole of crime. Fort Hood is absolutely the black hole of crime. And guess what? I was in the Navy, so I can proudly talk shit about my Navy brethren, and I can definitely back up Navy SEALs that were fucking badass. Then you decided to go ahead and get them out of the military after 16 years of honorable fucking service. Fuck you. That's what I can say to the Navy right now. Fuck you, you disgraceful piece of shit. And it's not the entire Navy. Obviously, it's DevGru 6. Or whatever the fuck your leadership, Navy SEAL leadership is for SEAL Team 6. You guys are a bunch of pussies. Fuck you guys. And I challenge every Navy SEAL to look into this situation and get to the root cause of the situation and challenge the leadership. Sign the petitions. Marcus Luttrell, where the fuck are you, bro? You a fucking Navy SEAL. Why don't you get knee deep into the situation? It's been out there. It's been put out there. Now that you're going to learn about the situation, and hopefully it hits the news somewhere in Texas, wherever the fuck you're from, Lubbock or wherever it is. I don't know. But come on, bro. You're a fucking Navy SEAL. You fucking served with the best. You're part of the best. And you're going to allow another Navy SEAL brother to go down over some bullshit, lying bullshit like catfishing, which, like I said, I don't know what part of the UCMJ that falls under, but fuck me, right? So, I lived on Fort Hood for a year. The worst year of my adult fucking life was spent on Fort Hood. Almost immediately, starting in December of 2017, almost immediately, do we have problems in Texas? Because we have a neighbor who lived next to us on Karankawa who went ahead and called CPS and lied to CPS about how my kids are addicted to Starbucks, which, you know, I don't know any kid in the world that's not addicted to a candy ball or a, what do you call it? The fucking little suckers they have, or the cake pops. I don't know a kid in the world that doesn't love cake pops. I don't know a kid in the world that doesn't like whipped cream every once in a while, especially a toddler. So apparently my daughter's teeth were black. No, they're metal because she had problems when she was a baby. Okay, she has high calcium deposits like her dad. We have bad teeth. Okay, and she used to go to sleep with a bottle. We learned her lesson. Second kid's teeth, just fine. We had to learn our lesson the first time around. But my daughter's checkups, you know, now and since then, 100. Good teeth. Make her brush every night, every morning. Part of the process. So when it comes to, not only that, that wasn't the only accusation. Apparently we locked our kids up in a room by themselves for hours while we moved in. Not true. My wife was up in the other room with him the entire time putting together my fucking chair for my office. The entire time. Tools, toddlers, chair, the whole time. And then they lied and said, well, I was helping move in. The kids were upstairs by themselves. And then my wife went by herself to go to the store and come back, which was not true. She took our kids with her while me and the other gentleman moved our stuff in. Regardless, we get a knock on the door. Obviously, in the military, you have no actual private property.